Over the past 14 days, we followed alongside Wallace Epperson with his quest of trying to find his long-lost daughter. If you haven't seen the first two videos, I strongly encourage you to check those out beforehand. Will we be able to find my daughter, or will I die trying? I hope you enjoyed this video, and without further ado, sit back, relax, grab a snack, and let's get right into it. Starting off with the morning of day 15, which I began by reading some comic books to cure my ever-encroaching boredom. Then I looked at my trusty map to see where I'd go for the day, figuring exploring the storage facility might prove to be useful, but for now I read until the fog was eventually cleared, then drank a little stale milk and filled my water bottle up before finally heading out. Where I started with looting the side house, finding more than expected inside. Along the way, my electric base broke, so I armed myself with a spiked baseball bat. After clearing out the group, I tried to open up one of the garage doors, but they were all locked. Once I felt safe enough to go in, I tried, but that door was also locked. I wanted to check around the back, and when I turned around the corner, a massive herd was directly in front of me. I realized they had spotted me as I was turning away to run, so they would be following me if I tried to run home. I would have to take them out now. I took a couple of deep breaths and turned to fight. After that mass extermination, I checked to see if there were any more zombies roaming on the other side. This door was also locked. Upon checking the last door and coming up with no luck, I need to return with tools to break in. As I was marking off where we had searched on the map, I noticed a small shack I wanted to check out before heading back, not wanting to return empty-handed. Inside there was only canned food, so I decided to continue looting the other buildings nearby, eating canned corned beef along the way. I opened up a window on the first trailer and snuck in through the bathroom, grabbing a key on the zombie. Now I'm at 10. I grabbed the food from the pantry, and on my way out, I saw a car, and then a couple more on my way over to check them out. This one was empty, so I meandered my way over to the next trailer, where I found a dead body with a gun, along with food. Now being drowsy, I ventured back home, where I dismantled all the watches and electronics, placed in the new weapons, repaired my bat, ate the rest of the corned beef, and placed in the new duck, all before heading to bed. Once I woke up, I decided to refill my water bottle, and it seems like the water had been shut off. I could hear the spigot struggling to dispense the delicacy. Luckily, we had made rain collectors in the last video, and it's currently raining outside. I grabbed a cooking pot and placed it out there as well to collect more water, and then set out on today's adventure, heading back to the storage facility with tools in hand. I dismantled the door and made my way in, finding some paint, comic books, and a fitness contraption in the first room. The next couple of rooms were empty, but I did find some toys for my child when I would find her. The subsequent room had a generator, gravel bags, and a bunch of tools and metalworking materials. After searching another few rooms, I found an additional generator. There was also a locker with fertilizer, and after finding a room with a bunch of boxes containing some okay loot, like this TV I dismantled, I moved a box and found a couple more good items, including a new military jacket and an angler magazine. The preceding room had fishing gear I went ahead and took since there's a pond nearby. Eventually we might need to start fishing for a food source, so let's go ahead and grab it. I remembered after finding another generator that they could have fuel inside. This one didn't have any though. Lastly, I found a bag of plaster I didn't know what to do with in the janitor's closet. With the rest of the containers being locked, I checked out the remaining generators for fuel, coming up empty. On my way out, I ran into a zombie that had a gun on it, which I took for myself, and then marked the storage facility on the map with a marker for the generators so I would not forget. I went south a little, marking the 2 other trailers we searched and grabbing garbage bags before noticing some good looking vehicles. Both vehicles had no keys, but the one on the right was 3/4 of the way filled with gas. I looked around for the key just in case. Coming up empty-handed, I siphoned gas out and it would still have 58% fuel inside. I killed some zombies, checking them for the key, and inspected this cool looking bike. I couldn't figure out what the button was to inspect the bike, but then after I eventually figured it out, I realized that there was no gas inside either, so I finally returned home. Adding the gas that we collected into my car, and I decided since this is probably the longest I've survived, I deserved a drink. So I cracked open a cold one. Then I read a couple magazines while tipsy, placed in new toys around the house, adding a bunch to my daughter's room for when she returns. I was still able to fill up my water bottle, so I was a little confused about that. For dinner I ate some ice cream and then finally went to sleep. On day 17, I wanted to venture back over where we were yesterday to get an extra generator for when I'd find a gas station. I cleared out the trunk of the car for the trip before heading over in that direction, breaking the mailbox as I left the driveway. It was going to happen sooner or later. When I got there, I went ahead and turned the car around for a clean getaway and made my way back in. Grabbing the generator, and on my way to the car, I broke my bat fighting a roamer. After throwing the generator in the trunk, I went back in for the fitness contraption. I wanted to see what it was, and it might look cool as a decoration in my base. While I was close, I searched the trailer and then decided to break my way into the car. Inside there was an annotated map I went ahead and marked up on my own, and then siphoned the remaining gas from that car to mine. After I was finished, I went around searching more of the trailers, coming up away with massive amounts of perishables and non-perishables, and antibiotics. Then I decided to return home, almost crashing into this car along the way. Then proceeded to deposit everything we collected, including the generator and fitness contraption, which I ended up putting upstairs in the reading room. With no dumbbell bar, it was kinda useless for now. For the last little bit of the day, I sat and read Tailoring Volume 1, then fried bacon and a meat patty for dinner before going to bed. If you're enjoying this video and haven't already, consider leaving a like. And while you're down there, go ahead and subscribe. It's quick to do and really helps out the channel. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and let's continue on with the video. With day 18, which I started with reading a magazine to get rid of my boredom. It was still dark outside, so I whipped out the Tailoring Volume 1 book and read until the sun came up. And then I put the empty gas can into the Jeep and took it for a ride. Heading back south to the trailer park. One of the zombies I killed had a Slim Jim and a hunting knife. Nice. I opened up a window to the first trailer for the day, clearing the area before looting, where I found medical items, Trapping Volume 2, Tailoring Volume 3, electronics magazine, along with some food. I went back over to the trailers, making my way into the next one, and while in the bathroom I heard some groaning coming from outside. I opened the window to lure the zombies in, and one of them tripped me. Not wanting to risk it, I dashed for the exit. Then I realized I could just hit them through the window. I snuck back around the outside and through the bathroom window and killed the last remaining one. Now up to 11 keys. Well, now 12. Being done searching the trailers, now I strayed over to a nearby industrial building. Once the outside was cleared out, I let myself in through the front door. Holy crap, this place was absolutely stacked with loot. I killed the zombie at the door and looked around. So much farming supplies, tools, weapons, metalworking gear, axes, basically everything we needed to survive. Once my backpack was filled to the brim, I journeyed back to my car. This way I would be able to more quickly loot the building. For the next couple hours, I grabbed everything useful from the storage facility and stored it in my car. Luckily the Jeep has 100 storage capacity, so we were able to grab everything I wanted to and I spent the last hours of daylight putting away everything we collected today. But before going to bed, I made a stir fry for dinner. Delicious. Day 19 started late, at around noon. I decided to try and start leveling up my metalworking, so I grabbed my propane torch and mask and headed into my house to dismantle some things, starting with these chairs. Then I made my way into the bathroom. After breaking down everything I wanted to inside my house, I went over to the neighbors, seeing that they still hadn't made it back. At this point, I was pretty sure I needed a new propane torch because I could no longer dismantle things with it. I was going to start planting some seeds, but after realizing I knew nothing about farming, it would be smarter to wait and watch a video. So I decided not to plant any yet. And then I could no longer fill up my bottle from the sink, so I grabbed the pot from the stove and poured it into my bottle. Everything was starting to go wrong. It was still daylight though, so I went out to the Jeep. Along the way, I found myself back at the storage building, but it was now surrounded with the dead. I dodged the hordes as I drove back, hoping they weren't following me. When I got back, I ate the rest of the stir fry we made and went to bed, anxious that the zombies might have followed me back. Day 20, I walked outside and realized it was still dark, so I did a little reading before heading out, finishing this magazine and tailoring volume 1 and added them to the finished books pile. Then it was time to head out. I got into the car, decided where to go, and headed out in that direction. When I got there, I saw a survivor's house that had been barricaded. We could potentially find tons of amazing loot in there. I circled the area, ensuring nothing would be sneaking up on me, then made my way in through the back window. Once inside, I took out one of the zombies and started looting, grabbing tons of weapons and tools. After filling out my inventory, I returned back to the car to store it and went back in for the rest, grabbing a key from the other zombie inside. I decided to swiftly loot the other surrounding houses nearby, starting with a house with no front door. Then I went across the street when I once again heard the screeching sounds of a house alarm. Apparently everybody had a home security system back in 1993, which is apparently when the game is set. Fun fact. I dashed back to the Jeep and backed it up all the way home. I'm a pretty skilled driver. I decided to store all the new weapons in the shed outside since we were running low on storage inside. After depositing all of the loot, I read an engineering magazine and dried myself off. And I went ahead and stored an extra machete in my backpack for future use, and set out on foot to look for more zombies to kill. I've been noticing more and more gathered around recently, and I wanted to get to the problem before it got to me. Along my journey, I found an extra pistol. Eventually, I stumbled upon an abandoned shopping facility. Seeing a lot of cars we might be able to find gas in, the SUV housed the key inside the glove box, but while checking out the gas situation, a zombie snuck up behind me. I heard more nearby, so I decided to leave it for now just in case I got surrounded. On my way back home, I noticed even more herds gathered around the previously looted houses. I checked my map for a safe route home and made my way back. When I arrived, I was already extremely tired. So after I deposited the new gun, dismantled washes, filled up the empty bottles, I was about to go to sleep when I noticed my food had started to rot. So I was going to ask y'all if there was any use in keeping it maybe for fertilizer, or if I should just go ahead and throw it out. If you know the answer, comment it down below. Anyway, after that long day, it was finally time for bed. Today was the start of day 21. I wanted to put a door on the shed out back, now that we were using it. After seeing I needed more parts, I went out looking for the houses with broken doors. During my journey, I ran into the herd again and decided to take them out now. One of the zombies happened to be a policeman with a gun. After killing them all, I went to the nearby house and grabbed the rest of the parts I needed. Then took the long way home, killing any zombie on the way. I decided to switch my map to this mode. I don't know which one I like better. You all tell me down below in the comments which one you prefer, and I'll keep it that way for the videos. Ooh, another gun. Before I headed home, I went ahead and looted a house for some extra supplies. Once my backpack was full, I went home, where things were starting to look good now, with a bunch of guns and ammo, along with food for days. The one problem though was water. I filled up a pot and started boiling it for purification while I constructed a door for the shed. For dinner, I finished off a fruit salad and had some ice cream for dessert. Our food pantry was getting so full, I had to start storing cans inside the laundry room. While it was still daylight, I figured I should get my electrical to level 1, so I went outside to a house and dismantled a TV inside, getting me up to that. I was also intrigued about learning tailoring. I haven't used it so far, so I inspected some clothing items to see what I could do. I couldn't yet repair holes, but I could use some leftover ripped sheets as extra padding for my clothes. I'll mess around more with this and the other skills in the coming weeks. But for now, it's time to end off our episode. Wallace Epperson now being up to 355 zombies killed and 21 days survived, he is now by far my longest surviving character. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, consider leaving a like and subscribing. It's quick to do and really helps out the channel. And if you want, come join my Discord and talk with me and a bunch of other cool people. Link is in the description. Anyway, I've been ASUS Samurai 7. Thank you all so much for your continued support on the channel. You all are absolutely amazing. And I'll see y'all all in the next video. Peace out.